Well, Carly, thank you so much for talking to us. I'm so excited for your debut album. You must be super excited as well.
So happy. I can't believe it's happening.
Absolutely. I want to talk to you a little bit about the writing of it. You wrote 8 of the 13, is that right? Was there one that sort of you started with and then built from there? You know, how did you put it all together?
I think the song that started it all, just the vision of the album and kind of led me creatively, is a song called You Know Where to Find Me.
Okay.
It was the first song that I ever wrote. I met my producer Busby the same day that we wrote it.
Oh my
and
God.
we actually wrote this song with Emily Shackleton, who
Okay.
wrote Every Little Thing with us.
Okay.
And I think even Emily and I knew each other for years before that, but she says that is the day that it all clicked for her as far as there's Carly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's cool when, I mean, did you feel it at the time that kind of this is something special, this is...
When Busby and I were trying to figure out if we were going to work together, and this was almost 3 years ago, and when he sent me that demo of that song, I'd worked with a lot of producers in town over the last 8 years, and when he sent me that, my publisher Daniel and I, we knew that he was the guy.
That's amazing. For some of the ones that you didn't write, how did you come to those and, you know?
I've been a huge Hillary Lindsey fan for as long as I can remember being in Nashville. She is such an amazing writer and singer, and her melodies get stuck in my head so much. She has a song called Hide the Wine that I heard a couple years ago just in the publishing company where I write, and was like, I don't have a deal, but I need that song. And my publisher was like, well, sorry, you can't have it.
Oh, no.
But I love red wine so much, and just the way that she sings that song sounds so much like how I would have written it. And she actually wrote another song on there called I Need a Ride Home, that there's a line in it talking about sitting, wanting to go back to the kitchen table in your hometown, and that is 100% what I did with my grandpa. So it's
Wow.
out of my story.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's cool when you find those songs that you didn't write, but you feel like are so your story. It's almost eerie. It's like, wait a minute.
That would be the only way, just because I'm such a songwriter and wanted to write the majority of my album, that was the only way that I was going to cut outside songs, is if I could 100% insert it into my story.
Completely. And I'm glad you bring that one up because it's such a good example, you know, along with songs like Every Little Thing. Your vocal performance is so emotive, so passionate, but not overwrought. It's that perfect sweet spot that, you know, makes the listener try not to cry all the time. Thank you very much. When you go to record something like that, how do you approach the vocal performance, especially those songs where it is more emotive and more vulnerable?
I lived that, so it was not hard for me to write. It wasn't hard for me to sing. It was very easy for me to get into that headspace. And a lot of people don't know that when Busby and I are cutting this album, there's no vocal booth. We're out in his studio just as close as you and I are.
That's
cutting
amazing.
this vocal, and so he's able to really kind of guide me, and we're able to feed off of each other, and it's just as raw as the song is. So I think that helps to capture a good vocal.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You are going out on the road with Eric Church for a couple dates, and then
Yes.
with Brett Young. That's amazing.
I don't even understand.
How do you prepare for shows like that?
I'm such a fan of both of them, and it's such an honor to be able to go out and play shows with them. I think that for me, I've had such a good time over the last couple of months as I've been doing radio tour and starting to play shows, just building my show. And now that I have the album, I know what the show is going to be like, and it's just going to be fun to get out there and play in front of really big crowds and super big country fans. And I feel like both of those crowds are such fans of songwriting, which I think is going to be a great thing for me.
Absolutely. You've been out on the road with people like Martina McBride. When you're opening for people like that, what are you picking up? Are you just sort of like, okay, let me watch and see what notes I can take?
Oh gosh, a person like Martina, you just want to watch and soak in everything that you can, just because that's somebody that I've watched my whole life, and also just a veteran in the business, and she's got it down, and so I enjoy watching, you know, what she's honed in on over the last 20 years of her career. And you know, even people like Kelsey Ballerini that I go out with, as she's one of my girlfriends, but I take notes from her too, just because I think that, you know, anything that you can see or take away from some people that you really admire from an artistic standpoint is just going to better you.
Absolutely. Well, and with, you know, an artist like Kelsey too, it must be cool to see, you know, a peer of yours engaging a crowd in such a huge, massive way that she has. And then, you know, that could easily be a path for you as well. That must be fun to watch and, you know.
It's so fun. We've been friends for, I don't know, way before Love Me Like You Mean It came out. And I've got to open shows for her at every stage. So it's
That's
been a
so
really
fun.
cool process to watch her become a superstar.
I'll bet. Well, I'm sure you were on a similar path.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank
and
you.
Congratulations. It's an amazing album.
Thank you.